Welcome to After the Con. My name is Brian D. Anderson, as most of you already know. And today we have Carolyn Haines, a fantastic mystery writer. She tells this one story about this actual sex book that they used to pass around. I love this story. You got to tell it today. It was when I guess the men were off at war or something like that, and the society ladies would pass around this book with pictures of the young men that were available to entertain them. And I'm like, wow.
Photographs of young men who they were male prostitutes, and they had on like Indian Native American outfits or Civil War colonel outfits, but they didn't have any pants on.
Well, to see how qualified they are. And we also have Laurie Mclean.
Cosplay.
We also have Laurie Mclean. She's my agent and the founder of Fuse Literary, which used to be called Forward. I sometimes forget that. And that was a big mess.
Oh, yeah.
And she's a fantastic agent, and I can't speak highly enough about her. In a little while, we're going to have Miss Jeffe Kennedy, who is a romance and science fiction writer. Jeffe. Well, I never know if the E is silent. So, and as everybody knows, this is the format of this is just free talk. You talk about whatever you want, however you want. There is no pressure, no set agenda. This is writers as just talking, and like after the convention shuts down for the day at the hotel lounge. So, anyway, how's everybody doing? While we were in private chat before we got live, we learned that Laurie is in La Honda, California, which is right near right in the middle where all the fires are. So she's her cars are stuffed and packed and ready to go. And here comes Jeffe. There she comes. All right, now we have a full house.
All right, I guess I have to start my video.
Oh, that's fine. Like I said, I just went ahead because if I wait too long while I'm doing the live stream video, it like makes me do it over again. I don't know why. I'm a technological moron. So, now this is not the first time Laurie, Jeffe, and me have been after the con. This is the second time. We were all together at the bar at WorldCon, and I got way too drunk.
Oh, you did? I think I left before that point.
Oh my goodness. And I don't know, Jeffe, have you ever met Carolyn Haines?
I'm not sure. Hi, Carolyn.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Carolyn's local to me. What part of Mobile do you live in, Carolyn?
Actually, I live in Sims.
Sims.
Yeah, the bedroom community of Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little farm. I have an animal rescue. I have some horses. So.
Oh, really? Do you like to ride, or do you?
I don't ride like I used to. I really used to love riding, but I don't ride as much now as I used to.
When I was a kid, I had a quarter horse, and it thing was insane. You had to trap it to ride it. Once you got a hold of it, it let you ride. Once you had to get hold of it, and and I didn't know how to put a saddle on, so I always rode bareback. I didn't know that was supposed to be hard.
It is very hard. Yeah, that'll give you a bit more security.
It's the only way I was able to get to ride the horse. So I was like, I couldn't put the saddle on. I couldn't put the bit and bridle on. So that's what I did. Of course, occasionally, the horse's name was Auburn, and was tired of me being on its back and try to sweep me off underneath a tree limb.
I can't blame them for being smart.
No. Oh, what you eating there?
Leftover pad thai.
Over what?
Leftover pad thai.
I have no idea what that
Thai
is.
food.
Thai food. Well, I'm in the deep south. Everything's deep fried. So we could deep fry a cell phone, we'd eat it, I swear to God. Oh, man. So what part of the country are you in, Jeffe?
I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Ah, so at least there's no fires there.
Actually, there are.
Oh, wow.
A
Really?
fire on the mountain right above us right now, so it's real smoky today.
Oh, wow. All we got is 2 hurricanes headed our way. Nothing much.
Yeah.
No
Fire
kidding.
on water.
I don't think, my understanding is neither one of them is going to hit us directly so far. But we're going to, oh my God, the rain we're going to get is just going to be. And I live in I live in a real wooded area, so there's going to be tree limbs everywhere. So it's going to be bad. And yeah, of course.
Card on the table.
I didn't have 2 hurricanes at once on my 2020 bingo card, though. I mean,
No kidding.
Maybe you could trade
Hey,
one hurricane
Brian.
for a plague of locusts.
I blame you for this if I can show this.
of
without
course,
too
a
much
fire,
reflection.
yes.
This is why we are having firestorms in California, dude. Thank you.
Oh, well, you know. I'm probably the because my
Could
book
you
came
please
out.
write a sequel?
Well, my first book came out right when the
Could
COVID
you please
virus.
write a sequel? Right.
Oh my God!
This is bad.
You know,
I
what
need
I
a
would like to
sequel
know.
that
I
says
know
the
this is
end of
casual
the
chat,
fire,
but what
okay?
is everybody working on right now? What is everybody? So I do this kind of early on, so the people who are listening, they know what everybody's got going on, and then we repeat that at the end, so that way it kind of sticks in everybody's head. So Carolyn, why don't you go first? What you got? What's your latest?
Well, I just had a Bones book come out last month, The Devil's Bones.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I have another book coming out in October, A Garland of Bones. These are both in the Sarah Booth Delaney series. And I just finished writing the book for 2021, Independent Bones. So it'll be out next May. And right now I'm working on a Trouble Black Cat Detective book.
Well, it seems like you have a good prop there.
Let me tell you this cat's little story. About 3 years ago, I was taking my truck to the mechanic, and I had a friend who was going to pick me up. I was just going to leave the truck. It was like 8 o'clock at night. So I drove it to the mechanics, parked it, got out, and I went to throw the keys under the door so he'd have them in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And the door opened. And I was standing there, and the mechanic is standing there, and he's holding this little black kitten. And he just held the kitten out to me, and I held the keys out to him, and we never exchanged a word.
That's pretty great.
Left.
Oh man, that's
Excellent.
so.
But he was very good. He took really good care of the kittens, and they were healthy. And this was the last one, a little female.
Well, you had to have it.
As a treat to him, I spayed his female cat for him. So
You did good job. So, Jeffrey? What do you got going on? What's your latest thingy?
Well, I just came out with the second book in my trilogy with St. Martin's at the end of May. So that's The Fiery Crown.
Mm-hmm.
And I just finished doing revisions on book 3 for that. That comes out next year, but I got that turned in, and I've started, well, and then I released a final book in my Uncharted Realms series that I continued self-publishing. Let's see if I can grab that. Yeah. So I just came out with that.
I saw that.
Nice cover.
Yeah, that's Raven. She does amazing covers. She does a good job of continuing the feel of the series. And now I'm writing a book that's a whole new world and magic system and everything. I'm having a lot of fun writing that. So I'm just in the drafting stage on that one.
Oh.
And how about Laurie? What's going on with Fuse Literary these days?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm writing anything since I'm an agent. And I when I first started 15 years ago, I proudly told the agency I was with, I'm going to spend 50% of my time as an agent and 50% as an author. And they went, good luck with that. And of course, haven't written anything since because you just get into this mode of being an agent and then your creativity is sucked into all your clients. So you think about their books rather than your own. It's a really weird phenomenon. But today I'm promoting A Chorus of Fire by this fabulous indie bestseller, Brian D. Anderson.
All right.
But seriously, Brian,
I'm very proud to show something.
Sequel, man, because
I'm very proud to show something. See that little boo-boo right there?
Yeah.
That's where my pick line used to be.
yeah.
And I finally got that damn thing out.
Wow.
Oh my God. I finally took a normal shower that I didn't have to sit there and like basically sponge myself off because I couldn't get this damn thing wet. And the wound as of yesterday has closed. And I don't have to sit there and change bandages like every time I go, because I'm trying to get healthy with all this COVID stuff. One of the main things is, I lost a lot of weight because of, you should have seen me. You've seen me. I mean, I was a hefty boy. I was like 270 pounds, and I'm weighing 220 now. But that came about because of the antibiotics just wrecked my appetite. I couldn't force myself to eat a bowl of soup. But now that I've lost weight, I'm like, now I need to keep it off, especially with the COVID going around, because there's a good chance I could catch it. And the healthier I am, the less chance I have of, kicking the bucket. And I got a son, he's a senior this year. I got to at least live long enough for him to get out of high school. I mean, cool. Anything after that's bonus.
I hope you live longer than that.
Too. Oh my God. How long has everybody been? I'm really curious, and I never asked this question. How long has everybody been doing this? I mean, as authors or agents? You said 15 years, right?
Yeah, 15 years as an agent. I wrote a few books before that, so a few years as an author before that. But yeah, agenting's definitely my jam. It's got the two halves of my brain, the creative and the shark of the deal, satisfied at all times.
But anybody else can jump in. Just like I said, this is casual talk.
I've been writing a long time, but I've been published for 32 years.
Wow.
So
I remember hearing a talk you did for the Mobile Writers Guild. I remember all the stuff you said you'd gone through over the years. It was pretty amazing. Like I said, me and Carolyn live in very close proximity, probably about 45 minutes away from one another. So, but how long you been doing this, Jeffe?
Well, I started out as an essayist doing creative nonfiction, and so my first published essay was like in '96.
Mm-hmm.
So 25 years ish, and then my first novel was published in like 2011. So I've been a novelist for about 10 years now.
Everybody's been writing longer than me, but me and you've been novelists about the same amount of time, because I got into it during that first indie explosion in 2010 to 2012, when you had David Dalglish, Michael Sullivan, Michael G. Manning, there's some guys out there still doing it. There's so many of them that aren't anymore. That just I don't know, for whatever reason. John Forster, I hadn't seen him put out anything in a long time, and he was doing.
That's true of a lot of the authors who were in small presses with me to begin with, because I started out publishing with Carina Press, which was like that first digital imprint of Harlequins, and part of that first big wave of the publishers creating digital imprints. And just recently, I was going back over some stuff. I was looking for a book that someone had sent me back then. And I was looking at all the books on my Kindle because I arranged them by date. And there were so many authors that I was like, I've heard nothing from them in all these years. And I would Google them, and like, they haven't published since those early 20s. Or early 2010s. It's really kind of sad.
Yeah. Carolyn? Didn't you go over to a Amazon APUB for a little while? Aren't you doing stuff with Amazon?
I did 2 books of a series with them. And
What do they like? What do they like to work with?
they were great to work with. You know?
Was it Thomas and Mercer or
Yeah,
Thomas and Mercer? I know they have like 6 or 7 different imprints.
Right, right.
And then Thomas and Mercer handles like the mystery and suspense thrillers and stuff like that, right? Yeah. What where that was but you can't go wide, right? They just basically, or do
Right,
they? It's
right.
it's
Just them, and and they
promote the hell out of you though. My God.
They've got 70% of the ebook market and something like 45% of the print book market. So as far as distribution, they're king. And then their marketing, because they're all numbers driven. We've sold a lot of books to them. There's 47 North is their fantasy imprint.
Yep.
Thomas and Mercer's mystery suspense thriller. They've got literary with little A. They've got picture books with oh boy, now I'm gonna forget it. 2 C's, no, Sea Lion, something like that. And then they've got Starscape for YA.
Yeah, with David
Motley
Dalglish.
for romance.
David Dalglish did. I had him on a week or 2 ago, and he was he did a co-author book with them. He said they were awesome. He said they were great to work with. So I mean,
They are, yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's a weird time right now for books. You know, I mean, I don't know if, how many.
For publishing.
Oh my God. I was going to do 17. I mean, the illness I suffered would have canceled out all the cities, a lot of the cities that I was gonna go to. But now that I'm healthy, it's not like I can pick it back up. There's just that everything has been canceled. As far out as
Yeah.
December, and December's probably going to be canceled. I mean, this was going to be my first year going to Dragon Con as a visiting, as a attending professional. You know, I mean, and I was really looking forward to that. You know,
Yeah.
of course I'm supposed to.
That really sucks. I feel like they've stolen something from you.
All right, just because we can't. I mean, just because the response. I mean, God, if we'd have just done what New Zealand and the European nations did, we would be right about now be getting back to a normal pace. I mean, I have a son who's a senior in high school, and this is miserable for him. You know.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible.
And you know, people, I know. I mean, he plays sports too, so it's tough. You know, I mean, you got to balance that. Well, yeah, and what a lot of people don't understand about why the sports are important. A lot of these kids, they have no other way to get to college. And this year, and these kind of things are important for them to be able to get scholarships and things like that. And it's why they're willing to. And that's not a COVID cough. Have you ever noticed that nowadays when you hear somebody cough, you automatically think they got COVID? You know, I've coughed 50,000 times in my life, and none of them were COVID. But yeah, a lot of these people are depending on this, the athletics for scholarships, and taking their season away is, you know, for a lot of kids, basically.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, they can't afford either that, or they might have to go into like such severe debt that they'll never see the other end of it, or maybe that, or for whatever reason. But a lot of these kids are dependent on these athletics to get into college, especially, you know, especially somebody coming from an underprivileged environment is, you know, they're good at basketball, good at football, good at something like this. The senior year is really important, and people are acting irresponsibly, and they're not realizing they're not just hurting. The ripples of this is just bad. Anyway,
Unforgivable.
yes, inconceivable.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I had this meme that has, you know, it says, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya," and I bet you just read that in your mind using my accent. You know. Oh my God!
Always.
Have any of y'all ever read The Princess Bride?
Oh yeah, I read it in high school.
Oh, it. I love how he says that, he like makes you believe that there's another edition that's like 70 pages of somebody packing their just packing their bags, and it's like it's not true. Oh, so what kind of? I mean, I know you attend like Worldcons and stuff, but Carolyn, what kind of conventions are for the mystery writers? What are y'all's big things?
Well, BoucherCon, Left Coast Crime, Mystery Writers of America. There's a bunch of big
Sisters in Crime.
Sisters in Crime, yep. Um, and Novelist Inc. for indie authors of
Mm.
multi-genres. So there's a lot of them. They're always a lot of fun. I do not go as much as I used to go.
I know
Um,
you've done the one in the book festival in Montgomery a couple times, right?
I've done that, and the one in Mississippi. Yeah, and I've done a few book festivals. The to me, in the old days, when you really went to conferences, is when you were trying to meet agents and editors. And this is, I'm talking 30, 40 years ago. When
And that hasn't changed. It hasn't changed.
I still go to them all.
so many conferences now don't have as many editors and agents. I used to
Yeah.
belong to Romance Writers of America when I first started writing, because it was really the only organization that had a local chapter here in Mobile. And so you could actually have meetings and talk to other writers and get that kind of community and feedback.
Well,
So
what Craig Price and all those guys at the Mobile Writers Guild are doing, they do. I like that they can get. There's a small writers group here in our area called the Mobile Writers Guild, and there must be about 30, 40 members if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they get I've done presentations for them, so is Carolyn, and they put out anthologies. They do some great stuff. I had a talk with a few of them who were like, they weren't in genres that lend itself to independent publishing, and that's still the thing. People, indies come a long way, but if you, I mean, depending on what you write, I mean, there's in some genres that just indie doesn't do as well, and you're almost better off trying to go the agented the traditional method, because you're never going to see anything, especially like literary fiction. I mean, literary fiction, that talking about a genre that exists primarily on awards, and they're not gonna award anything to an indie, I mean, and so I mean, somebody's writing lit fic, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to get you an agent. You're gonna have to go to a publisher. I mean, anyway. So you got the San Francisco Writers Conference. I got to know. So how many clients have you picked up at conventions, Laurie?
Well, it used to be more when I was, the first 15 years of being an agent, but now I have like 25 clients that I've had for a number of years. I mean, several of them I've had for almost the entire 15 years that I've been an agent. Yeah, so I don't pick up that many. I only pick up like 1 or 2 new clients a year. But I used to go to writers' conferences more than conventions. So Worldcon, I look at that as a convention. I can go there and meet with my buddies who are editors and tell them what's going on. But at a writers' conference, the organizers bring in agents and editors, mainly for the attendees to talk to. But, the agents and editors get together and talk shop as well. So I do a lot more of those than I do cons. Yet you talk to some of the other Fuse agents and they hate writers conferences and they only go to conventions. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did a video a while back on how to get an agent. You saw that. It was only but it's still the three. It's still the three methods that it's always been. Go to a writers conference where agents are going to be, and if, referrals. Right. I was referred to you by Michael, and
right.
or submissions. There's the only 3 ways. But I'll tell what always amazes me is when I hear stories about, oh, I went to this convention, I met with this agent, so and so wouldn't even give me the time of day, and this. I'm like, well, did you have your elevator pitch ready? Did you have your book on a flash drive that you could just hand over? Did you have anything other than just bugging this agent to give you a shot? Up your sleeve, did you practice your pitch to this agent in the mirror until you had it down? Did you practice it in front of friends so you know that you're doing something to get this agent's attention? You know how many people submit to agents every day? What are you doing to stand out? And the answer is
at the height of when I was.
Well, they didn't have to be so mean about it. I'm like, okay, that's your answer? All right. Well.
At the height of when I was open to queries, Brian, so this is probably 5 years ago, I was getting 1,000 to 2,000 queries a month.
Whoa!
1,000 to 2,000. I couldn't even get through them all, so I'd read like a paragraph and reject or accept, and it would break my heart. I love indie publishing, because at least I could say to people, I think this is a little nichey, maybe publish it yourself and start to build a fan base that way. Or to somebody who I'd met at writers' conferences every year for 5 years running, and they're pitching the same book still, I'd say, you know what, I publish this and get on to the next thing you're going to write.
Right.
Because it's like polishing, you're down through the paint to the metal, and you're still talking about making it shine, so that's hard advice, but the fact that you don't need an agent to get published really makes me happy.
Well, the benefits, as I know and to having an agent is having somebody that advocates for you, that actually knows what the hell that they're doing, that understand, and that can remove themselves emotionally from it. There's a horror story David Dalglish told about him signing with some foreign publisher. It's the reason that's the reason Michael Sullivan got published traditionally before David Dalglish did, because he got caught up because he got emotional about it, and and he got just wrapped up in the excitement of being published, and then he had to turn down a huge deal from Orbit and wait to publish it later after the time expired, just because he was acting out of emotion. That's one great thing about having an agent, is that they'll use their head instead of their heart to get the job done. Now, how long you been with your agent, Carolyn?
I've been with Marion for 30 years.
Wow.
A lot of really good agent-client relationships last longer than a marriage.
I had to track her down. I aggravated the snot out of her until she finally said, okay. It was, well, this is back in the day before the internet. Nobody knew what an agent was or did, at least not down here. This is not exactly like the hub of writing and publishing down here in Alabama.
No, it is not.
Needed an agent. And I thought, okay, So
how does one do
that? That's what I have to do. And I only had short stories. I had not written any long things.
Oh.
And that's
hard to sell short stories.
I met this guy at a cocktail party, and he said, "Sissy tells me you write short stories." And I said, "Oh, I do. And he says, "Have you tried to publish them?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Do you have an agent?" And I said, brilliantly, "What's an agent?" And he said, "It'll take too long to explain it, but you need one." And he, in this tremendous act of generosity, he wrote his agent's name and address and phone number down and handed it to me. And he said, "Write your letter." And
That's generous right there.
I'm telling you.
I referred a few people to Laurie, and I think only one ended up, two ended up signing with you guys. And I tell them, and just because I'm making the connect doesn't mean all this is going to do is put you on the top of a pile to be read. That's
Right.
all it's going to do.
Gonna get
You
a read.
knowing me does not get you in the door. I mean, you got to have the goods. You know what I mean? I mean, the book has to be good enough. It has to be something that agent wants to sell. So that's great.
Well, the other thing, Brian, is that if an agent gets a referral from a client, it's almost a guarantee that they'll read the whole book. So by you referring your buddies to me, I read everything, that they wrote. Whereas if it's just something in a slush pile or somebody I meet at a conference, maybe they get anywhere from 10 pages to 3 chapters.
Oh, how
Because
about
I can make a decision if the writing's good pretty quickly.
How about that crazy ass girl at WorldCon? Oh my God, you remember her? The one that turned in, that was pissed off because she couldn't turn in the short story.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, this crazy. And I started reading it, and I'm like, no, I can't finish reading this. It was just too painful to even, seriously, it was. I don't even know how I would describe what this person handed to me, because I just happened to be there when she came in. I said, well, look, there was nobody really. Remember, there was nobody to read. I said, look, I'll tell you what, I'll read your thing. I'll give you a critique on it, and so,
and you regretted that decision.
I regretted that, man. I'm like, oh. Not only was the language just scatterbrained, but the subject matter was gruesome. And it's like, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what? I tell people in my community, my friends and family, well, not my family, but my friends, that I sell real estate, because nobody really wants to hang out with a real estate agent. But if you say you're a literary agent, they're like, oh, I'd like to write a book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, raise your hand if somebody says, as somebody have told you, I have an idea for a story. I can write it. You can write it, and then we'll split the profits. I'm like,
yeah, I have an idea. All you have to do is write it.
Like, how about this? You've already told me the idea. I could just steal your idea if it's really that good. No, I'd never do that. How about you learn to write? And it is amazing how everybody thinks anybody can do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, not everybody. Or somebody wants me to do something like, can you do a screenplay for me? I'm like, no, I don't have that skill set. That's a completely different thing from what I do.
Well, the other question is when somebody, like an old friend, comes to you and says, okay, so how do I get my book published? And you say, okay, well, this is a conversation. This is not, let me give you a quick answer. We have to have a conversation. And they'll be like, okay. And then you have the conversation and you explain all the stages and steps and everything. And it's hard because you sort of watch their balloon shrivel and waft away. And it's like,
yeah,
it's not a,
if everybody could do this, everybody'd be doing it. I'm sorry. If it's not it. Yeah. It's hard. It took me a long time to get to where I could write well enough. Even my early stuff is amateurish, and that's being generous. But the story was there, and all I had to do is get the prose down. But if I hadn't had that skills, the ability to acquire those skills, I wouldn't be, published with Tor for damn sure. Laurie wouldn't have, despite I may be a nice guy, but she's not going to wait. But yeah, I've had people. How do I get a book published? And then I'm saying, well, it really depends on the book. What kind of book is it? And then invariably it's a book about my life. I'm like, well, you just need to self-publish that and hand it out to your friends and family. He goes, well, I lived this crazy, exciting life. I said, everybody's lived a crazy, exciting life. You're not the only one. I know a guy who had heart transplant surgery and wrote a book about it. Nobody was interested in it because it's not singularly unique. I'm like, now, if It's like I climbed Mount Everest. Yeah, you and like 50,000 other people. I'm sorry. I know a heart transplant's traumatic, but it's not so unique that that you're gonna sell a million people on the experience. Now that
Well,
guy,
ideas are cheap. It's how you tell the story. That's
and
the,
like that guy who lived under the subway platform for 2 years. That's a unique damn story. I mean, and it's something that obviously sold. Or doing something that is so unusual and so life changing but everybody has exciting stories about their life. I always tell them just to write a fiction based on your life. If you're gonna write a story, take some snippet of it, turn it into a novel. You know, and the cool thing about that is, have you ever been in a conversation where you wanted a reply that you think, I should have said that, and I didn't? I said, well, here you can have said that. And if you try to,
Well, you know what? Yeah, the other thing is you have to kind of remember back to why you started writing in the first place. A lot of people, maybe they've gone through therapy for some kind of just horrible trauma that happened in their lives, and the therapist says, why don't you write a journal, or why don't you write this down? And so it's the catharsis really that they're going for to finish the journal. But then it's done, and all of a sudden at that point, because it was such a huge journey to finish the story, they think, oh, I got a bestseller. And all of a sudden then it becomes fame and money. Whereas initially it was about getting through the trauma and making sense of it and healing, right? Or maybe it's your life story and you wanted to start it because you wanted to leave it for future generations. You know, all of those are really good reasons to write something, yet disconnect it from, well, I've got to, publish this with Random House, or I'm, not any good. No, go print out 50 copies and send them to all of your relatives. And now they become kind of a family archive, of at least one person's life for future generations. And that's equally wonderful.
Well, that's where a lot of these vanity presses, where their bread and butter is doing memoirs and stuff like that. Nobody intends to sell. They're just making a bunch of leather bound copies for. The only problem with that is they're not really doing anything that you can't do yourself, and I think that's
what I'd say. I'd say go to Kindle and Create Space. Or go to Kindle Create Space, put it up there, and then you get a really good deal on author copies. They're like, $5 a piece. So order 50 of them and give them away for Christmas, and done deal.
I mean, you can go with Lightning Source, and Lightning Source, actually, you can get leather-bound editions if you want to have them made. There are outlets to make these really nice editions of your book if it is something that you're wanting for a keepsake, something maybe to give to your children or your relatives. Yeah, you don't have to go to these vanity presses. Now Carolyn, you say you messed around with a bunch of small presses early in your career, right?
Yeah, I've worked for some smaller presses, and I have my own press now. So we do the Black Cat Detective books. It's a multi-author series.
But anthologies, you said?
No, they're novels, standalone novels. Each writer writes their own story, but we share the character of the Black Cat Trouble.
Okay. Now, are you dealing with local authors, or are you sort of spread out?
Kind of spread out, mostly in the South, though, as it turns out, for some strange reason. But we've got I think the 12th book in the series that's coming out around Labor Day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, but
just like a week.
I think self-publishing destroyed a lot of these small presses and micro presses and vanity presses that were out at the time, because people the rise of the industry that surrounded independent publishing enabled any writer to put out to get their book formatted for paperback, to Create Space, which they got absorbed by KDP, but it's still the same company. Putting out nice looking paperbacks, or you could get hardcovers from Lightning Source, Ingram Spark, and you could actually have, they have return policy. The great thing about them is they have a return policy. So if you're like Carolyn, and you're very well known. I mean, getting an indie book into a bookstore wouldn't be much of a stretch for you.
And we use both Create Space and Ingram Spark because of the library sales also.
Mm-hmm.
Libraries want,
Mhm.
yeah. And we also have audios on them, luckily enough. So
Are y'all
Oh, wow.
doing that on your own, or are you farming that out?
we sold the rights to recorded books.
Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah, the big audio rights are just they went crazy with all that stuff. Oh, you can't sell anything without the audio rights anymore. That's why the Barge Blade was my first tour book and not the Veil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
We made more on audio rights than on selling the whole book.
Oh yeah, and yeah. So did you hear that one that Michael did with them? I'm like, my God, you got that Jeff Bezos money going out though. You know, I tell you, people say whatever they want about Jeff Bezos. If it wasn't for that man, I wouldn't have a career. I wouldn't be where I am today. I should have a statue of him in my front yard.
A little bobblehead.
Yeah, or
Jeff
at
Bezos
least a
bobblehead.
bobblehead, you know? He sort of looks like a bobblehead, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Oh my God. So, how's everybody keeping sane during the COVID crisis? What are you doing?
You know, my life is pretty much the same as always. That's, you know, I already didn't leave my house for days at a time, and I'm out in the country in Santa Fe, and New Mexico has handled the pandemic really well from the very beginning. We have a fantastic governor, and we'd locked down before almost anyone else, and you know, it's really not that bad here. So yeah, I've just been writing books.
I've been on the farm writing books.
Yeah.
Trying to hide from relatives.
Yeah.
No,
And I mean,
love
I've been-
my relatives. I'm only teasing.
Well,
And Fuse is a virtual company, and sorry, I keep talking over everybody else. It's like I should just do this, and then, hey, now I can talk. But Fuse, we formed it in 2013 to be a virtual agency. So I've worked out of my house since then, so for 7 years. So we didn't have to really pivot too much in any of the things we were doing. We already shared all our resources online and put documents in the cloud on Google Drive, and we do our weekly meetings on Slack, and mostly it's email with New York anyway, yet we have some agents in New York who'll do personal meetings with editors and get things done that way. But I think, I don't know, it's just a weird psychological thing that even though I'm working the same way, it's still like there's some added stress, and there's added loneliness and things like that, because you
added
feel
forest fires.
isolated from everybody else. Oh God, and that, yeah. Pandemic, forest fires, dying cat. I got it all going on here,
Well, all I got is a pandemic and 2 hurricanes. So,
And your health. And your health too,
Oh yeah, well yeah. There's that. That's been going on so damn long that I forget about it. It's like, oh my God, I mean, but my life hadn't changed a whole hell of a lot. But it's kind of hard on me having the teenage son, and I'm not, and what you ever tried to lock a teenager up in isolation? It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You're not going to be able to do that. So you got to just be careful about. And luckily, he's around pretty much the same group of friends. So, and the house itself is large enough I can stay clear of them if I need to, and I do when they come over. I just stay the hell in my office. And
yeah,
you don't come into my office. No, that's not done.
ever.
I told him, I said, don't make me put a gun to it, or a steel door and guard dogs, But I just stay in here and trying to get all this mountain of work I have in front of me done, and I'm almost finished. with part of it, and then I have the other part. I have
then the other part.
I have
It's
four
like four
books that
parts.
are so far overdue that because of the health issue that I had put me so far behind, and oh my God, I mean, sometimes it's hard to face up to it when you have that much work. You look at it and you're like, I can't do this. This is just too much. But you get to do it a page at a time, and in a paragraph.
Yeah, just gotta do it.
One sentence turns into a paragraph, turns into a page, turns into a chapter, and then it's done. But that initial feeling, especially as far behind as I've gotten, I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God, I'm never going to see the sky again." You know what I mean? Oh,
Do you have a page limit or a word limit that you try to write every day?
okay. Typically, if I write 1,800 words to 2,000 words in a day, I'm pleased. I'm not thrilled, but I'm pleased. And a great day is about 3,000 to 4,000. A tremendous day is anything above that. And we're talking first draft level stuff. We're talking that I'm not paying attention to anything, any continuity. It is disastrous first draft stuff. But I think Toby Deal, who famously said, "You can't edit what's not on the page."
Well, that's
So,
Nora Roberts said that.
well, I only heard Toby Neal say it. You can't. I don't know who originally said it, but so yeah, I try to blast out as fast as I can. I actually got to get a new keyboard. I have several broken keys now, and hardly any of the letters are visible any longer.
What do you shoot for, Carolyn? What's your writing?
I shoot
goal?
for between 1,000 and 2,000 words a day, but I write 7 days a week, and I've been doing this since I did teach fiction writing at a university, but I retired 4 years ago. So I've been doing it every day for 4 years.
Oh wow!
And
Wow.
yeah, but if I'm going to meet my deadlines, that's pretty much what I have to do. But I can't push myself harder than 1,500, 2,000 words.
Yeah, I do 3,000 words a day, 5 days a week. And I
Wow.
could write more than that on a single day, but then it's not sustainable. Then I have the crash
Right.
afterwards. But if I keep it to stopping at 3,000 words, then I can do that pretty sustainably week after week.
Yeah. It kind of remains to be seen what the new normal is going to be for me, because I can't let myself what happened to me health wise happen to me again.
What did you do to your health? What did you do to yourself?
Well, I basically sat on ass 7 days a week writing, and not eating right, and not taking good care of myself, and not exercising. And Lord can tell you, at first it was a very slow decline in my health, and both physical and mental, and then I had claudication in one of my legs, and I went in for surgery, and the surgeon was not only not very good apparently, but also negligent, and because of both her actions and then later inaction, I ended up with a staph infection that spread to my bloodstream.
Oh.
And then then it happened again. Then there was an occlusion in the graft, and it ruptured. It ended up becoming 100% occlusion and ruptured. And then there was another staph infection that spread to my bloodstream that I was in the hospital another week.
All this during COVID.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All this during COVID, and you have to go into the hospital with COVID patients.
Oh yeah. They sent me into a COVID unit, and I'm like, I don't have COVID. Get me the hell out of here. And I have comorbidities. What's wrong with you? And
They're like, you don't have it yet, but we can take care of that for you.
Well, I'm really
Herd
trying.
immunity.
I tell you what, there's a group, it's either Toby Neal or Janet DeLeon who started. I can't remember which one of them. That's about authors and the health and like trying to stay healthy. It's tough. I mean, because what you do is so sedentary, and it's that's why I had to start forcing myself to go for walks in this oppressive heat. I have.
I'm a
risk going
total
to the gym.
evangelist for this, but I have a walking desk and I walk about 10 miles a day while I'm writing.
Wow. I don't know that I can do that.
It's, you walk very slowly, and it's I swear I've had this for 5 years now, and it was the best thing I ever did for my health.
Wow.
Okay, let me ask you this then, Jeffe. When you're walking at your desk and you're typing, do you feel like you're not stable at all? Because I had a one of those raised desks, a standing desk, and I just felt, and then I had one that I had kind of kludged together myself on my treadmill. And while I was walking on the treadmill, I felt like I was going to fall off or something while I was trying to do my email. So give me some hints on.
Yeah, you can't use the kludge together things because it's just not ergonomic. Let me see if I could show you guys what I have.
Oh, good at demo.
Okay, let's see here. I have to unplug, so we'll see. Oops.
Do you find yourself like tilting your head, even though you know you're just going to see what's in front of you?
I don't know if it's going to show very well, but yeah, no, it doesn't like me moving around so much. So I have like a really big desk, and the treadmill's down on the floor, and my desk is hydraulic. So I can raise and lower it. So I was sitting on the side of it, talking to you. Also, I've got this sort of block on there for the laptop to sit on.
Swing around.
Yeah, but when I work at the desk, I just lay my hands flat on the desk like this, and you walk slowly, and it's very stable. But if you do that with like a running treadmill where you like have it propped on the handlebars and all that kind of thing, then it's going to feel weird.
It's like, whoa!
You have to invest the money in it. But I tell you what, it's worth the money.
How do you stay fit, Carolyn?
Well, I clean horse stalls. I have
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
I have 3 animals here that I take care of.
You got a pretty large piece of property, right?
So, and hay bales, all the stuff that goes with that, fence maintenance, unloading horse feed. So I do a lot of physical labor still, although I'm getting a little old for it. But I also I ride my bicycle. I try to do a little step aerobics. I'm trying to get back into it. I have been very sedentary, and it is not healthy.
No, it's not. And I have vascular issues that exacerbate what was already wrong. And so now that's why I'm permanently on blood thinners now. I'm permanently on certain medications now. I'll tell you what.
Another idea is you can just take a kitchen timer and put it down to an hour, and then every time it goes in an hour, walk for 15 minutes, or go do something where you're getting up off of your chair and doing something for even 5 minutes. But this cheap kitchen timer, has saved me more times than I care to admit, because I just get into something and all of a sudden I look up and it's 6 hours.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear you guys for some reason.
Yeah.
We can hear each other.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Let's talk about Brian.
What just happened? Oh, here we go.
Well, I'll tell you one of my great fails at working at the desk. I decided and made a rule that I could not get out of my chair and walk to the refrigerator unless I did 50 sit-ups. So what if
Whoa!
Well,
I
actually,
bought a rolling chair so I could roll to the refrigerator?
oh my God. Actually, I actually live about a quarter of a mile from Mobile Bay, and I can
Well,
walk.
then walk to the bay and back.
I do. I know. I do. But half of it is downhill, and when I say the other half is uphill, I'm talking like I call it Mount Montrose. It's and it's long and steep, and it's 95 degrees out here. Let me tell you, by the time I get to the top of that hill, I'm just pouring.
You go right to the
sweat.
pub and get a beer.
Oh God, you know what I mean? I wish riding my motorcycle was healthy for me. It's good for my mental health. I mean, you never see a Harley parked in front of a psychiatrist's office, but
There you go.
yeah, but it is so hard to keep healthy. You know what I mean, and to stay fit when your job is sitting down. Now I've seen pictures of Carolyn's land. I mean, it's gorgeous. You got a really nice people. Well, Sims is kind of out in the country,
Yeah,
and
they're really out in the country.
yeah, well, Montreux, my house looks like it's out in the country. It's just not. It's surrounded by woods, but also other houses. I always tell people Fairhope's.
Mine usually looks like it's in the country, but today there's so much smoke and ash because they've mainly put the fires out that it's just like right up here. That's it. You see the first row of trees, and that's it. I was originally going to do this with my iPhone, just walking outside to show everybody how crappy everything is. But it was so dark.
Is it something like that?
You know, it's so smoky. I'm like, yeah, kind of like that, Brian.
I'll tell you,
They
California.
may be hiding in the second row of trees. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got to fight off bears. How many times did that bear break into your house and tear up your stuff?
Oh man. Now we have a cottage up in Mendocino County, up in the mountains.
Oh,
And we came up there, you know, it's just a little like 770 square foot solar cottage with a wraparound deck. It's just this cute little thing that I've had since I was 23, you know, and you know how when you see those pictures on the news of the trailer parks that have just been destroyed by hurricanes or tornadoes or whatever, I opened the front door of the cottage. The outside was fine. I opened the front door and I was looking in there and everything was destroyed. Tables up on end, smashed up chairs, just food everywhere. And because it's in a place where in the summer it gets over 100 degrees, there was about 4 inches of food, everything from, you know, soy sauce, spaghetti sauce, maple syrup, pasta, everything just baked into this floor in the kitchen. And I was just staring at it because my eyes saw it, but my brain could not process what this was. And my beautiful dear husband behind me goes, "What, do you see a mouse?" And I'm like, "No, honey, it's a little bit more than a mouse." And he walked in there, and what we figured out later, because there were 2 different kinds of scat. There was little scat inside and big scat outside. The other thing is, as we were driving up to it, it's like a mile-long dirt driveway to get to the top of this mountain peak. And there were all these cans in the driveway. And I'm like, what are all these empty cans doing in the driveway? Because we pack it in and pack it out because we only go up there like 4 times a year. And what we figured out had happened was Mama Bear pushed the cub through this window that we had open like that much in the kitchen with a screen on it, but she just ripped the screen out, pushed the cub in there. That cub must have been in there for a couple weeks because pretty much every can every can that he could push through the window for Mom, he did. He swung on all the cabinet doors and broke half of them. He just, you know, there was a battery in the middle of the floor. He bit that. So then it dumped over, and then it was like a car battery because my husband was up there doing a ham radio field day with my father-in-law the week before. So that had disintegrated all the carpet and all the padding and everything in the living room. Then he went upstairs, and there was 2 built-in bedrooms in the peaks upstairs. And this bear, must have gone into one of the rooms and the door closed behind him, right? And he freaked out. So Mama Bear's down there probably screaming her head off and growling. And this bear tried to dig his way through he dug through the carpet. He dug through the subfloor. He couldn't get all the way out there. So he gave up on that and he went underneath these beautiful custom batwing windows that we had. And he dug out the drywall. He dug out the 2x4s and then until the window fell out and then, fell down and cracked. And then he jumped through that because we saw a whole bunch of blood and fur on that window and tumbled out. This is on the second floor. And it's on a mountain peak. I mean, there's not a lot of room up there. That's why it's such a small cabin. And he tumbled down the hill. And yeah, so we figured that out. But it's taken us, I think, 5 years because we don't go up there all that much. And I've been super busy. But it's taken us like 5 years to even get to the point where the outside's totally done. The inside, we still need carpet and painting. But other than that, it's almost back to normal. But Bear-mageddon.
Well, guys, we are 3 minutes out from the hour. And it has been this has been such a good time. I've enjoyed this so much. But before we go, let everybody tell once again what we have going on with our books, and then we will sign off. Carolyn.
Newest book coming out in October, A Garland of Bones, one of the Sarah Booth mysteries. It's set in Columbus, Mississippi this time. And so it's a Christmas story, of course. So that's what's coming up next for me.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
Jeffe.
Second book in Forgotten Empires is out. Third book coming next year. First book, I have it here somewhere. Oh, yeah. First book is Orchid Throne.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And for me, I just had
what latest hat style?
So,
no, I just want Jeffy's famous for wearing great hats.
I've seen the pictures of her with her hats. As for me, I just had A Chorus of Fire came out, which is the second book in the Sorcerer's Song series. I'm soon to have the final book of the Godling Chronicles finished, and then the other two books, Akiri and The Veil, will be finished. But it's going to be a little while before the third book of the Sorcerer's Song is out. And that's what I have going on. And as far as anything else besides my wonderful book, you would like to tell everybody that's going on with Fuse Literary?
Well, let me tell you about a little opening the kimono to publishing, what we can expect in the next 3 months.
Okay.
So in September, every best-selling book that was supposed to be out during the pandemic, so since March, has been pushed to September. I think there was something like 60 books coming out on September 3rd. So
600.
September's going to be, 600. Yes, 600.
600.
So September's going to be insane with all the books. It's like constipation, and finally here these books come out, right? And then in October, it's going to be insane electioneering with the worst, election stuff you've ever heard of. So it's going to cramp our creativity as, for my authors, for publishers and editors who are just like, I can't stand it anymore. And then in November, the election's going to happen, and we'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a new president. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't know. Who knows? And then it's December. And then in December, everybody, all the editors and publishers are finishing up for the year. So I'm just looking at that going, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
So that's my life for the next 4 months.
I have a question.
Sure.
So this whole backlog of 600 books, that's just awful.
It's just awful.
I know.
Because the booksellers are even saying, like Waterstones is saying they can't stock them all. They don't have the room. Even if they want to be. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know. It's going to be horrible. Just think of all the advertising. Think of all the, you think you get a lot of emails right now.
Think of all the books that get buried. You know what I mean? Things think of all the books, like debut authors and things like that, are going to get completely buried. Yeah. And they don't have a shot. They don't have a chance. You know?
Yeah, so if you're indie,
No.
just don't publish anything in the first couple weeks of September.
Yeah, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here. The links are posted on the description on my Facebook page, and this will also be uploaded to YouTube on my YouTube channel a little later on, and all the links will be there as well. I want to thank Carolyn Haines, Laurie Mclean, and Jeffe Kennedy for being here. I had such a wonderful time. And
You're fun.
good night, everybody,
Thank
and
you so much. And nice
we'll
to
see
meet
you
seeing you,
next time
Jeffe.
on After the Con.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.